Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of This Week in D1A Rugby with some highlights and some observations and thoughts about what's going on in D1A. And first of all, wanted to thank our sponsors, US Rugby Foundation. They help fund initiatives throughout grassroots rugby, all the way through college players as well, in terms of high performance scholarships, starting new teams, rugby balls for programs that need something like that. So go to usrugbyfoundation.org and donate. Small donations really help. Thanks also to Irish Rugby Tours. Hey, rugby touring is still a great tradition in this sport, and you can go anywhere in the world with Irish Rugby Tours. They do a fantastic job taking you there. And finally, Next Phase Rugby. You want to connect with rugby programs within college, and you're a high school player, or conversely, you're a college rugby program. You don't even have to be a varsity program or have a lot of funding. You can just be a club team that wants to connect with high school players who want to come to your school. Use the Next Phase Rugby app. Go to nextphaserugby.com to download it, and you can get started. And finally, I want to thank everybody who has given me things: hats, rugby balls, sweatshirts, t-shirts, for my background. It's really great. It's just kind of a fun thing to have going. Latest one is this one. It's a pretty nice t-shirt here from Charlotte Cardinals. So thanks for that. I got to figure out a place to put it. Okay, for now we'll put it there, but we'll find another spot for it. All right, let's get to the highlights. 2 weeks of stuff going on because I took a trip to Arizona to go watch baseball with my son. So took a week off, sort of a half week off. So didn't have time to do this video. So we got 2 weeks of action. So let's start with Cal Poly against UC Santa Barbara. The big thing about Cal Poly is that they're able to move that ball very quickly. Their back line really superb. This is a good example of that. Just quick ball, a little bit of breakthrough, and then that loop around in the offload. That's what sort of made that try special. Nice win for Cal Poly over a improving but still developing UC Santa Barbara team. Well, it was sunny there. It wasn't sunny in Arkansas, where Life University went to Arkansas State and had all sorts of trouble just trying to score points, just like everybody did, really. This ends up being 15-3 for Life University. It was 5-3 for a very long time. This is kind of slow going with this scrum and some pressure from Life, and then having trouble converting pressure into points. And finally, just Julian Roberts tries to chip ahead. Doesn't happen, but we're going to go back to penalty. And here they go with a tap move with the forwards. You know, it's just wet and unhappy, and really they just drive it over. Sometimes, as one coach once told me, and he got this advice from his father, there are a lot of tools in your toolbox, and sometimes the best one is the hammer. The big game 2 weeks ago, of course, Cal at Navy, and a good trip for Cal to get out there and play Navy at Annapolis. It was a fantastic game. Some mistakes both sides, really. And so I don't think either team came out of it saying they played a perfect game. But what Navy did do was hold on at the end when Cal mounted the inevitable comeback, and Cal really did have a chance to win that game. The maul, that's the thing that proved decisive for Navy. And they scored earlier off a maul, and then off this one, right off the back, eventually Matthew Thibodeau will score right off the back, and he'll have 3 tries in that game. So an impressive day for him, but really it was a team effort. Cal comes back, they get one over. Forwards really had to work there, close in, and they were able to get one over. Just so close, that one, and then Thibodeau is there ready to take it, and he's just going. So some pretty simple stuff from Navy, but they did the simple stuff extremely well, and their lineup functioned extremely well on a very windy day. It didn't function well for Cal. So even though they scored a very nice try here at the end, wasn't quite enough. A week later, Navy is opening up and playing in a curtain raiser for the DCL Glory team against Penn State at their stadium, at the DC Stadium. And we'll see just sort of a very nicely done set piece move right close in. They're going to go to Lewis Gray. Lewis Gray's having a fantastic season for Navy, and he's just going to just take it right over the line, in under the posts. Good cutback line there from Gray, and he just curves around. And then we're going to see right after that another try from Gray, and that's really going to set the tone for the rest of the game. Comfortable win for Navy. UCLA having a bit of an up and down season. Actually, they're fairly consistent. It's just that they like to get some of those closer results into wins. Playing against UC Santa Barbara, this is possibly the pick of their tries. A nice kick counter right up the middle gets the Bruins going. Good support there. Santa Barbara perhaps a little slow to get their defense organized. Still, they put UCLA under pressure. You see a nice little tip pass that doesn't appear to go forward. Referee is right there to say, yeah, let's keep playing. So ball is recycled, spun out to the right side again, and UCLA scores a very nice, well-taken try. Good work keeping the ball free when you go into contact. Now we go back to the Mid-South this week. Arkansas State versus Davenport. Davenport looking to finish with a winning record in the Mid-South, which I'm not sure they've ever done. And a win here would put them at 3-2 with a chance to get to 4-2. Well, it's 10-9. Time is winding down. Arkansas State is in the red, and they are pressuring. And here we have a lot of space out there on the wing, and it's actually well read. Good drawing in all the defenders there, and a score out in the corner. You see all the Arkansas State fans and players very excited about that one. That puts them ahead 14-10. Davenport pressures right off the restart. There's not a lot of time left. They're able to work their way down closer. And they're running those flat passes to the forwards, challenging the Arkansas State defense, just inching ever closer to the try line. And having done all that work to get the Arkansas State forwards worrying about the big bodies crashing in, they will go wide to the right. Christian Casey is going to take this one over, and that actually will be the game winner. It'll make it 15-14. They'll get the conversion as well, 17-14, and it will be Davenport's defense that finishes off the game. So they're still alive and getting their winning record. Arizona welcomed Colorado into Tucson to play a little bit of a tour game for Colorado. It's a little bit out of season for the Buffaloes, but still a good win for Arizona. And we'll see a nicely executed set piece backline play for the Wildcats to start it off. They've got them all going and stopped a little bit, but the very smart move from the Wildcats is to get that ball loose. Good work from Zach Barker, the hooker, to get that ball free and make sure it stays alive. And then just a short flat pass to E.J. Freeman, who's having a terrific season for Arizona and the outside center. Used to be a flanker, goes in under the posts. On to perhaps the biggest game of this past weekend with Central Washington taking on BYU in Ellensburg, Washington. Central having a great season, pulling off some big results. And BYU just a little bit just like fighting to get those big results. And so we're late in the game. It's 23-19. Central Washington is leading. And BYU comes through with a very nice play around the edge. Ben Austin, the number 8, getting around the edge, feeding back inside to Strider Fontaine, who had a very good game against Central and scored a couple of tries. Doesn't quite make it on this one, but Kyle Clintworth is there to pick it up and stretch over and score. And aside from the fact that BYU appears to be populated by players with soap opera names, very good comeback for them, and they're ahead. Still a chance for Central Washington. They come through this offload, a couple of offloads, in fact, coming through to set them up to score. Yes, try given, but no. Assistant referee comes in, says he saw a knock on. That try is disallowed, and the game ends 24-23 for BYU. The other big game, and I was privileged to be on the broadcast team for this one, Game of the Week from the Rugby Network, and this was such a tight one. Life versus Lindenwood, 7-7 through so much of the game, and then just late, Lindenwood finally gets the ball out. A nice insertion from Tyron Al-Jaburi from the left wing into the right side of the back line, and he sends a pass out to Nick Hardrick. And check out this finish. The fend, the acceleration, and just the balance as well. And Hardrick is in for a key try to make it 12-7. Well, they're not done yet. Great pickup from Kian Darling. A couple of crazy offloads there, and Renato Breinard is going to be the beneficiary right on the end of that to score in the corner. That'll seal it 17-7. Lindenwood essentially clinches the Mid-South with that victory.
Find the open man with more pace.
Right.
Get my hands free and find one of the danger men, like I said, and try and get it into the corner. As a squad, we just really back our skill set. We've got depth, and character all throughout our set.
And finally, we're going to finish off with a little bit of a sort of a D1A lesson. How about that? You hear me talk about the competitiveness of D1A, and we talk about a lot about teams that are winning. Teams that are losing, it's very important too. I mean, how they persevere. Davenport is a great example of this. Now looking at, it's certainly going to be at least 3-3 in the Mid-South, which is very tough to do. And they've had years when they've been 0-6 and they played well and they've still been 0-6. So let's have a look at Cal State Long Beach. They joined D1A in the California Conference this year. Wins very hard to come by. But here they are battling, and finally against Santa Clara, they get a victory. That's a good one. And as we watch this back and forth, and Santa Clara is down at the line looking like they can put this game away. The ball comes out, is stolen by Cal State Long Beach. Dan Joyce then takes the ball 99 meters, it looks like. He just goes all the way. Lovely little break. A little bit of change in direction, but really he just goes for it. And that's the key part of it. And he will finish off. That's his second try late in the game. And he will seal it a win for Cal State Long Beach. So sometimes the lesson is not about, whether we're talking about playoffs or a championship or teams that are going undefeated. Sometimes it's about how hard you work to get that one victory. All right, that's going to do it for me here. Thanks again for everybody who gives me these shirts and the background. Love it. Also, thanks to everybody who supports the site as patrons and Patreon patrons. Really valuable support for us. As you know, travel, web hosting, web maintenance, these are major expenses for somebody who does what I do. So thank you so much for everybody who supports that way. And look at the bottom of the screen. Go there. That's how you can support as well. And it's much appreciated.